What's going on, everybody? Taylor Gone here. Today I am going to take you through one of the upper body warm up routines that I like to use. So, first, I'm starting with shoulder circles, both forward and back, about 10 to 20 each way. And the main thing I'm really trying to focus on is how far I can extend that T spine on the upward motion when the arms go behind my ears and when they come down in front of me or from above me in front of me. I am trying to internally rotate and push my shoulders and pecs as far forward as possible to expose and loosen up the scapula as much as possible. The same thing here when I'm doing the I call them self hugs. I don't know the proper name for them, but I'm basically trying to throw my shoulders forward and stretch and get as much room between my traps as possible. You'll feel a lot of releases in your rear delts, traps, scapula, ribs, and even elbows sometimes. So, really make sure you're trying to get a good sliding um, and lots of activity throughout the traps and scapula. Now I'm going to grab the PVC pipe and just work on isolating the elbow and the rear delt to get ready for the front rack position. It just kind of, for me, helps me get under the bar and get those lats and elbows through to achieve a proper rack position without having to arch my low back or compromise my position in any sort of way to otherwise achieve that position. So this is just something to help get my elbows and my hands ready, but I mostly specifically feel it in the rear delt and elbow. I do notice for myself it is a little bit easy to get lazy on this one. It feels like, once you break up that initial tightness and gain some really fast progress in those first couple weeks, it's easy to just kind of rush through it, brush up on it a little bit, and you feel significantly better than you used to, so you don't continue to push it. Just make sure, like anything else, we continue to progress this. A lot of times I notice that with upper body stretching and warming up, it goes forgotten just because a lot of times you don't have too many aches and pains in the upper body, and we spend most of our time in the lower body, and it just gets thrown to the wayside because you kind of shake your arms out and say, all right, I'm good. These are the dislocates where we're actually trying to improve the range of motion of our shoulders. Key points, I want my pinkies to stay on the PVC pipe, and week by week, gradually, I'm just trying to inch my hands closer together without straining or causing too much pain through the shoulders. This is going to be one of my staples for helping me with my push jerk and catching the weight in lower positions. Right now, I'm struggling with log because sometimes the handles are narrower than I can fit my shoulders and hips under, and so I'm really trying to improve my shoulder mobility because I have such a strong push jerk, and I really can't tap into it at all with those narrower handles, so it handicaps me quite a bit. So this is going to be quite a bit of a priority next few months going into this year of competing. Right here is some lats and a little bit of tricep, but mostly lats. See, I'm kind of using that PVC pipe to link my hands together so that I can pull that top hand. I'm obviously not mobile enough to reach up and grab my arm like that. Um, so this is something I've recently discovered. My current coach, Zach McCarley, has taught me most of these. The shoulder circles and the self hugs I normally did, but the other ones, the dislocates I did, this one and the next one you'll see I've picked up from him, and they've been huge, huge helps for just general pain relief, even down into my lower body. With this one specifically, because it's stretching all the way from the lat down to the knee and through the psoas and low abdomen. So, yeah, I've just always really had a hard time finding a good position or a good way to get a good stretch here, because I just can't. You'll see that's about as far as I can get my hands together there. And the stretch is typically taught with using your other hand behind you to pull on the top hand, and that's just not feasible. So, when it comes to stretching, especially for strength athletes, we're not trying to necessarily increase our flexibility, but we are trying to stay at our optimal level of mobility all the time. And so we don't need to do these crazy deep stretches where we are trying to close our hands together in that position. If we can, that's great. Um, but we're more so going for the stretch sensation and trying to isolate and stretch each individual muscle. So the point is, use whatever tools are necessary to achieve a good quality, comfortable, somewhat painful, but in a good, relaxing way kind of stretch. You don't want anything forced. You want to be able to fully breathe during it. And this is another one recently discovered, shown to me by my coach Zach. It is a tricep stretch specifically for that the head that ties in with the rear delt up at the top, which is a place that I knew it existed, but it's one of those places that you just kind of forget about and never realize that it gets tight. So basically, what I'm doing is trying to jam my hand into my front delt, and then I'm using my other hand to pin it there, and then I'm taking my elbow and pushing it out towards the front of my face and really trying to stretch that top end of the tricep. Now we'll go into hands. Hands and wrists, another area that can get neglected. I really just want to make sure that I can bend my hands to 90 degrees and that I get a good release through the forearm and into the hand. There's no disconnect or anything like that. I want to be able to bend my hand and fingers all the way back and feel a nice long stretch through my fingertips all the way down my hand, through the palm, up through the forearm, and into the elbow. It doesn't need to be just fingers or just hand or just wrist. You need to be able to stretch it enough that you can feel the whole thing. And that goes for each direction that you can bend your wrist. You want to be able to hit 90 degrees pretty much every way that you can. Fingers too. So I think this is it. That's my last one for this upper body routine. This is probably my go-to for deadlifting, grip work, and overhead press.